We are live with more Monday night action from the virtual Autodromo Nazionale Enzo E. Dino Ferrari, better known as its shorter name, the Fearsome Imola. Hello and welcome one and all to UK&I IRL Monday Night Skippys here on RaceSpotTV for Monday Night Prime Time. My name is Nola Rempel. I've got Ryan walking beside me in the commentary box with the lovely Tyler Maxon down behind the cameras for tonight's presentation. 3 races remaining so far in what has been an exciting season to watch all throughout the season, despite the slightly lower grid count, Ryan. As we enter one of the best tracks in all of the world and certainly in all of Italy, it is bound to be a fun night of racing ahead of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Imola, one of my favourite tracks of the Skip Barbara, and I think tonight with like you say, it's not a relatively high turnout, but still we've got 16 cars registered in the session, and I think we should still be in for a great race. And with the launch straights as well around Imola, especially that home straight or home straight kink you could call it, I wouldn't be surprised if you see plenty of slipstreaming battles, and it's one I'm looking forward to.
A lot of drivers still out there trying to get those final qualifying laps in. We take a look on over at the standings, and so far it is the Benny Simonson show up in front with a good 285 points over Adam Miles with just 266, 19 points back. Of course, don't discount Nick Von Roberts from this championship, winner of the last 2 races, trying to see if he can maybe go for a 4th race win and his 3rd consecutive win as we enter round number 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you were talking about Benny Simonson as well, and just looking at the list of drivers at the moment, he's not signed up in the session, so he's leading the championship, and Nick Von Roberts and Adam Miles are 2nd and 3rd in the championship. So if Simonson's not racing tonight, that could give them the perfect opportunity to close that gap a little bit in the championship.
We take a look now over at the schedule for how the rest of this race will be playing out. Next up, we go on over to the Nürburgring. Of course, this is going to be down for the GP circuit to enter the penultimate round on the season before we, of course, swing on over for some good old-fashioned road course racing. Long Beach, the Long Beach Street Circuit, of course, a somewhat new addition, though it has been in iRacing now for several months, and still proving to be a very, very exciting racetrack, and no doubt it'll be interesting to see what these Skip Barber cars will be able to do. Qualifying is starting to wrap up, just 8 seconds left on the clock, Ryan.
Yep, absolutely, and qualifying at the moment, it's pole position is currently being held by Adam Miles, and not too far behind him is George Mattock, who's been slowly improving this season. He's been improving round by round, and at the moment he's doing well in qualifying, and he's been rewarded with that consistency. But Nathan Wade, who took the win at the Red Bull Ring, currently sits in 3rd. So a bit of a mixed up grid, it looks like.
A mixed up grid indeed, and no doubt should be an interesting one. Now, of course, open qualifying is present nowadays in the Monday Night Skippy series, and this does mean here, Ryan, that drivers will be able to finish their final qualifying lap instead of just being cut off at the buzzer. So the clock has expired, and at the moment we are just waiting on the final drivers to come on around and see if they can log in a lap. Among those is Luis Shana in the number 18 machine, has not logged a lap at all yet, and is just now on his first qualifying lap, seeing if maybe he can put himself potentially up towards that top 10.
Yeah, quite possibly. As I'm just watching him right now at the moment, and yes, he's basically just about halfway around his lap at the moment, and like you say, he's not put a lap in yet, but this is basically his last chance to log a lap, and if he can't do that, he'll be starting at the back of the grid.
There's another driver who was looking to try to make an entrance here tonight. It was the 675 machine of Michael Berry, but doesn't look like Berry will be able to join us tonight. Oh, you see Shadow getting super loose out there down through the middle portion of the track. That was through the Aqua Minerale complex. You saw the back end kicking out through the tight right-hander and then shooting out again over the right-hand kink, and that is going to be enough to kill the 18's lap, and he'll be finding himself starting over at the tail end of the grid. Ewan Patterson, another driver who has just now gone off the course, and he'll be ending his qualifying lap there. Here comes Daniel Tufts. Do badly his car to see if he can push this one across the line, going all the way down to the pit wall and taking out the DRS sign with him across the line for Tufts at the line. He will not be logging a time here, so his latest lap invalidated, Ryan, at the end of qualifying.
Yeah, it looks like he might have just got an off track as well, so basically that's kind of just, like you say, invalidated his lap, but it looks like everybody's completed their qualifying laps. yeah, not a big turnout like we were talking about, but it should still be a great race nevertheless.
Still 30 seconds remaining in qualifying here. Now, of course, the thing to note with this is there are no cars left on the course, and after the clock expires, it is impossible to get your car back out there, so we will not be seeing anybody else going out to set a qualifying lap, which does mean that Adam Miles and George Maddock lock out the front row, and it's a tight field up there, the sharp end of this thing. And we're talking about like 0.2 of a second, a quarter second separating your top two drivers. It should be a fun race coming down into turn number 1. Qualifying is going to officially wrap up now. So with 12 laps ready to get underway here, let's take a look down now at, of course, your starting grid as we enter round number 10 of the UK&I Monday Night Skippies. Adam Miles out there on pole position with George Maddock down in second place on the front row. Nathan Wade and Ewan Patterson in third and fourth. Clark Williams and Kevin Budgeon in fifth and sixth, Ryan.
Yep, starting in seventh, we've got Dave Dawson with Patrick Bennett alongside him in eighth, and then in ninth place we've got James McRitchie with Jeff Randall alongside him in 10th. Now in 11th we've got Martin Armitage, in 11th and 12th we've got Daniel Tuss. 13th is the league organiser Alan Patterson. 14th is Gerald Draper. 15th is John McDonald with Lewis Shenna, and 16th not logging a lap, and Michael Barry in 17th rounding at the grid, not logging a lap, and it looks like Barry will not be taken to the grid.
And of course, we'll round out the 16-car grid, or the 15-car grid so far. That is going to be set to rumble away for 12 laps or 45 minutes, whichever comes first, though usually it is, of course, that 12-minute counter that comes up first. Waiting on one more driver towards the tail end of the field here, and he has just now gridded up Jeff Randall, so looks like we are about set to get this race underway. Just waiting on these last few seconds now before lights out and we go green. So Ryan, what do you think some of the thoughts are to look out for as we get set to rumble away towards turn number 1 of the Tamburello chicane?
Well, a couple of things these drivers will need to watch out for is the cold tyres of these cars, and also turn 1 as well, because turn 1 on cold tyres is could sometimes be a recipe for disaster, as it looks like we're just about to get underway in a few moments' time.
The revs start to build. And the lights go out. We are underway from Imola. George Maddock immediately tucks in a line with Adam Miles as they thunder off of the starting grid already in the top 6. All single fouled out. Now it looks as though Maddock is going to try to poke around and try to fight this one around the outside line, coming down to the Tamburello for the first time today. Adam Miles holds on to the lead, 2, almost 3 wide, deeper in the field. Looks like all the way out though, Ryan. No dramas further in the back, and we keep this one clean on the race start with Maddock trying to go for the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. As they come up to turn 5 and turn 6, up to the veer nerve 6, and it looks like Maddock was trying to go around outside. Can he get it done? Yeah, he gets the moves done as they head up to turn 7, up into Toza. What a move!
What a beautiful overtake there for George Maddock, asserting dominance on the opening lap here from Adam Miles, taking that one around the outside of the chicane and making sure that Adam Miles knows who's in charge of this track. Behind, Ewan Patterson trying to go on Nathan Wade in the run up towards these top corners at Paratelli, down for the Aqua Minerale. Wade picks up. He's going to fall back to the 4th position with Ewan Patterson picking up 3rd. Adam Miles seeing if he can maybe try to run down George Maddock as they enter the Aqua Minerale section.
Yep, and George Maddock definitely showing that he's not hanging around in this race. He took the lead with a bit of a bold move, you could say, around the outside of Adam Miles, and that was a fantastic move. But as they head up to the Variante Alta chicane, this pack as well, so they're really close at the moment as they're still halfway around lap 1. But yeah, that move with Maddock and Miles could have ended up in disaster for both of them.
And the top 4 still looking nice and close. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all under a blanket. And so far, neither one of these drivers up in the top 4 where they were at the start of the first lap. George Maddock, though, pushed a little bit wide on the exit of Ravazza, but is going to be able to keep that one on the course. So George Maddock is going to lead the first of 12 laps with Adam Miles trying to run him down. Now, this is the stretch that Maddock has to watch out for. It's a very long straightaway, and sure enough, Maddock is going to be under fire. Oh, here goes Patterson trying to look 3 wide up the middle for the lead. Not going to make that one work. Adam Miles is going to go back to the sharp end.
Oh, I was going to. I think if Patterson tried to make it 3 wide there, and he committed to it, is James McRitchie goes through the gravel in the background, but back up at the front, yeah, that could have ended up in disaster on the home straight for the top 3. So it was a sensible move by Patterson to back out of it.
You mentioned McRitchie going off at the back end. He was in the middle of a battle and unfortunately didn't quite work out so well for him. Overshot Tamburello and ended up flying off into the gravel trap. Luckily kept it steady. One car is in the wall. It's Dave Dowson. Dowson's in the wall coming up to Tosa, and he looks like he might have had a struggle on the exit of the Villeneuve chicane. The 9 car out of the fight early on. Broken suspension, front wing, nose cone, you name it. That car's not going to be making a return today.
Yeah, absolutely not. His car's pretty much done as we're just about to look at the replay now. And it looks like Dowson might have just caught that slippery green stuff on the outside, and it just clipped the wall, and unfortunately went nose first into the wall on the second impact, and unfortunately that's his race pretty much done. But back up at the front, we've still got Miles leading, but George Matic doing a bit of weaving there, so I don't know if he's a bit unhappy with Miles, or maybe just trying to get some temperature into the tyres. But as Adam Miles throws the car over the chicane, and yeah, this is absolutely fantastic stuff at the moment.
Now, all of this battling up here does mean that we are starting to get more and more drivers closing on in 5th and 6th place. So Kevin Budgeon and Clark Williams are closing up as well. Here's Daniel Tufts is coming through the Alta chicane. Oh, big spin for him on the exit. It slams into the tire wall. That will be the inevitable end of the day for Daniel Tufts. Unfortunate for the number 34 machine, who did have to take that tow back to the pits. So back to live action. 6-car draft train for the lead, trying to come on up. Once again, George Matic goes for the lead, coming towards Tamburello. Yep,
as they come across the line now, it looks like Ewan Patterson's going to follow through as well. Follow Matic into second place, and it looks like, actually, I thought Patterson was going to go into second place, but Miles manages to hold him off as Ewan Patterson gets it a bit wrong over the anti-cut curbs, and loses a bit of momentum, and he's under attack now from Nathan Wade.
Oh, and nearly getting run over. Wade was by Kevin Budgeon just in behind, who got a huge head of steam between Tamburello and Villeneuve, but just wasn't able to properly go for the move. Decided to back out instead of forcing the issue there. That's kind of a small gap between Pattinson and Adam Miles started to open on up. You see Miles trying to go for the over-under out through the Tosa hairpin, but wasn't quite finding a gap there. You can also see Nathan Wade kind of poking in and out from behind. I think what Wade's trying to do here is just trying to tuck in line and make sure that the draft doesn't impact him too much, which is why he pulls out of the draft line, so he can make sure he can keep his braking points on point for the upcoming corners.
Absolutely. I think Wade at the moment, he's kind of just more than happy to sit where he is, but is right on board with Adam Miles as well. Stuck behind the race leader, George Matic, and I think I was expecting these guys just to be a little bit more patient, try and settle down, but these guys are just absolutely going for it already. So none of these guys are hanging around, but they have to be careful because Benny Simpson, who leads the championship, is not here tonight. So they need to think about that and just kind of maybe just be sensible and just try and finish the race and pick up as many points as possible.
This is at the moment the closest gaggle of cars that we have, is this grouping from first on back to about the 6th position. Everybody behind in the remaining 16-car grid, or the 15 cars on track, are kind of just running all by themselves. You do, of course, have the couple of cars that are occasionally in a side-by-side battle further down, but it's usually only the 2-car scraps. It's certainly not these 6-car trains like we're seeing here. Now, what do you think, Ryan, here? Do you think Adam Miles is going to go for the lead again? I think he'd be a bit of a fool not to at this point.
Well, he's got the run, so I think if you're in Miles' shoes, if you've got the run, you've got to go for it and just make the move. And yeah, he certainly does that. So Adam Miles back into the lead.
Goes back into the lead. George Matic going to tuck into second place. Pattinson still not looking to go for that 3rd position. I have a feeling Pattinson is going to be just trying to kind of wait around and bide his time up until the closing laps of the lap. I have a feeling here that we won't be seeing Pattinson making any kind of moves anytime soon, just because you really don't have any need to. I mean, why make a move to try to go for the lead if you're just going to lose it again in just one lap, considering how powerful the draft is down that front stretch? Pattinson, he's a smart enough driver, Ryan, that he absolutely knows what he's doing here. He's trying to wait for that last lap to make a move.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Patterson's been racing this car for quite some time now, and he's got the experience, and he's been in these situations before, so I think he's just more than happy to sit where he is and just let this race pan out. And also in the background as well, you've got Clark Williams in the 98, currently in 6th position. He's on the back of this pack as well, and he's one of those drivers as well. He's not really he's not always eager to make a move. He's more than happy to sit and watch these guys in front of him to just go at it.
Now, what Pattinson does have to be careful for, however, is guys like Nathan Wade and Kevin Budgeon just in behind him, because he can't sit in line forever without any competition from behind. Because sooner or later, the guys in the back are going to start to think that if they don't get up towards the front end, it doesn't matter how much battling goes on in front, they're not going to be able to make their way up there because it's just going to be a roadblock. So they want to be up in 3rd or 2nd place as well by the end of this thing. So it's not necessarily even Miles that's under threat for the lead. It's everybody else in behind that's got to worry about everybody else, because the top 2, they're going to continue to swap back and forth every single lap. Like I can almost guarantee we're going to see Maddox do here, as he already pokes out to make that move. Pattinson might not be as safe as he thinks, though, and I think that's why he's been trying to occasionally find his way up to 2nd place, just to put a 1-car buffer between himself. And he is going to try to go for the lead, 3 wide, down the front straightaway, around the outside, coming into Tamburello, and clear for the lead. Pattinson with the move, still side by side for 2nd.
That was a fantastic move by Patterson there. I thought he was going to just decide to stay and slip into 2nd and just stay behind, but that was a fantastic move to take two places in one go. That was very good opportunistic driving.
Great driver from Ewan Pattinson, and showing again why he's one of the better drivers around in the series. He's been here for a very long time, and he's always one of the guys that I like to watch out for, because he'll always pull these moves out when you least expect it. Sizes up his opponents and then darts his way through. It's the Ewan Pattinson style there, really. To try and go for those flamboyant moves, shall we say. And I mean, Italy's known for having flamboyant tracks and flamboyant cars. Makes sense that you'd see some more out there moves being made with them.
Absolutely, as they head up to Aquamina Rally now and on a run up to the Variante Alta chicane, and still it's Patterson leading at the moment from Matic and Miles, and Nathan Wade as well. But Nathan Wade again pulling out from the slipstream, just showing his nose. But I think he's not trying to make a move. He's just kind of just showing Miles that he's there. But I think Nathan Wade, if he gets a good run on Adam Miles, I think he'll go for the move on the next lap.
So I think what Nathan Wade is doing here, he's doing one of 2 things. He's either trying to fill the mirrors of Adam Miles, just to, kind of show him that he's there. He's either breaking the draft, or he's potentially trying to force Miles into a mistake and maybe take out some of the guys in front as well. Or even a combination of all 3. So we'll have to keep an eye on Nathan Wade here, because he certainly is making a lot of those little looks out. Now that Pattinson's in the lead, though, he's been on the offense plenty of times. I wonder how his defensive driving is going to be here, as Jordan Maddox is going to look for that inside line.
Yep, Matic going for the move again to retake the lead, and it looks like Adam Miles is trying to sneak through to slip into 2nd place as well. I thought they were going to go 4 wide there. That would have been a bit crazy, but Adam Miles up inside of Patterson, back into 2nd place.
Some great racing here that we're seeing from round number 10. Imola, of course, we were talking about this before the broadcast as well, Ryan, between even us and Tyler as well. We all like Imola. It's a track that's, it's hard to go wrong with it. It's an exciting track. It's not the easiest place in the past, and a lot of the overtakes we've been seeing have been down into Tamburello just because the draft is so strong. But it's so fun. It's a great track to drive, and it's a great track to race at. Ewan Pattinson, you can see him throwing one down the inside of Tosa, tried to get a run on Adam Miles with no success. But it's such a great track, and once again, provided a great race almost without fail.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Imola is just one of those tracks that suits any car, but be it from multi-class racing to open wheel racing, you name it, it's probably raced here. It's always produced great racing, and as a ride from the rear of Ewan Patterson in 3rd place, looking back at Nathan Wade and heading up to the run up to the Variante Alta chicane yet again. And I think this battle for the win's going to go right down to the last lap, and I think I don't like to jinx it, but I have a feeling that there could be fireworks about to happen.
That's the way a lot of Skippys races tend to go eventually. It's all nice and civilized, and then the white flag drops. At that point, any rules go out the window, and it's every man for himself. This race, it wouldn't surprise me if it was just the exact same type of situation. So far, I want to point out as well that Clark Williams, the 6th car in line here, does have the fastest lap so far of the race, which could be an interesting one to see if Clark Williams tries to make his way further up through this top 6 train to try to run down the leaders.
as possible. I mean, Clark Williams is one of those people that's, like I say, he's more than happy just to wait until towards the end of the race and then start making moves. But back up at the front of this battle, Adam Miles is going for the move to retake the lead. They're going 3 wide down to turn 2.
3 wide, Pattinson round the outside line, not backing out. Adam Miles trying to fight back and can't do it. Gets pushed almost onto the grass. That might allow Pattinson just barely out in front. Miles now side by side with Maddock. The two drivers going ever closer together down the straightaway as we enter the second half of the race. Pattinson outbreaks Miles and finally pulls ahead. Miles getting forced into the sand as Maddock pushes him towards the left side. Still side by side down for Tosa. Now finally Maddock wins out.
Yep, I was about to say the fireworks were about to happen, and it's starting to. It's kind of heading that way a little bit as Nathan Wade is under attack from Kevin Bergen, and Nathan Wade's trying everything to try and keep that position, but Bergen will not budge.
Oh, and Nathan Wade once again forcing Bergen out towards the right side of the track. Tell you what, Wade has not been showing any mercy to the 113 car and has been keeping him down in 5th place right where he wants him. And finally, Bergen forced to yield as they approach the Aqua Minerale complex, which is just not a place where you could go side by side through in any car, especially when you're in a big drafting train such as this one. So Pattinson holds the lead. The question is, how long?
Indeed, as Adam Miles has absolutely thrown that car over the curbs as well. He absolutely just bounced across them. So manages to keep control, but as Matic pulls out from the slipstream just to show Patterson that he's still there. But as I head down to the final couple of corners, down to the Ravazza, and I think don't be surprised if you see Matic trying to make a move to retake the lead, and also maybe Adam Miles rather, try and make a move and try and make it 3 wide.
So side by side for the lead now with Maddock and Pattinson going side by side. You can see the onboard from Adam Miles on the left side of the screen, and the battle on the TV cameras over to the right. Miles closing in more and more, not close enough to make a look down at Tamburello, but enough that he might be able to have that run on the very next lap. Pattinson is the only driver so far, though, that has been willing to take it 3 wide down in the Tamburello. Obviously, they're going to be double wide for the lead again. Miles is going to have to see if he'll be willing to do the same.
Absolutely, as they head through the viewer nerve now, and yeah, this pack is still... It's amazing how close this battle up at the front's been, and how close how many cars we've got in it. Well, God knows how many cars we've got in it, but still, it's been a great race nevertheless. And I think this battle is going to come right down to the last lap. And if I was to predict a winner, then I think Adam Miles might be in the box seat, or even Nathan Wade.
But you see Nathan Wade getting a little bit more anxious just to behind. He's braking later and later, and just that last time by, nearly ran over Adam Miles through the Paratella left-hand sweeper. So Nathan Wade is starting to look for it, and you would think, is 4 wide possible? We know 3 wide is, and this track's wide enough for 4 wide into Tamburello. The question is, are the drivers brave enough to go for that type of maneuver? Because it's almost certainly going to end with somebody off and into the gravel.
I think 4 wide might be possible, but that's very. I think anyway, it's a bit of a risk, because 4 wide on the home straight, you've got just enough room. But if you try and go 4 wide, unfortunately, someone's going to come off worse, and they have their race ruined.
Couldn't agree with you more on that one. I mean, 4 wide never really works into one of these chicanes, and you saw right up there, you and Pattinson just barely clipping the gravel trap, and Miles and Wade following the same line. Target fixation, always something to keep an eye out for. Closing in to 4 laps remaining. Pattinson goes back to the point. Maddock cannot defend. Adam Miles going to potentially go through into 2nd place, but has to check up to avoid running Pattinson over. And is not going to go for the lead, but is going to be able to tuck in line. Maddock giving Miles a little bit of space there to work with through turn 1.
Yep, Patterson back into the lead with Miles in 2nd, and this is the stage of the race where pretty much it's one of those everyone gets their elbows out, and I think they start to go for it, and it's starting to show.
Sort of shows almost a bit of an understatement. There is a lot of great racing going on, and it's sort of been going on ever since the lights out. You know, about what was this, only like 17 minutes ago. This race has just absolutely flown by, and it's only, you know, there's more to come. I mean, the racing is not going to back off until that checkered flag, and maybe even a little bit after the checkered flag as well. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen, you know, a lot of these battles coming right down to the wire, even in this series alone. It's not even uncommon to see battles sometimes coming down to the wire in the UK&I Monday Night Skippies, just because of how close the top field is together, which is honestly, it's a refreshing sight compared to a lot of other series, right, where you can often see, you know, the front runners just running away with second large gaps.
Yeah, that's why I've always enjoyed watching this league and watching the broadcast. Always Patterson gets it a bit wrong through the Variante Alta chicane, and it gives Adam Miles an opportunity to make a move. And also, I was going to say it gives George Mattock an opportunity to try and slip into second, but I think Mattock is going to wait until the home straight.
Tell you what, Pattinson is in a great position now because of that mistake through Alta to get that run off of Ravazza all the way down towards Tamburello. Looking over to the left side, electing not to go for the move just yet. Now is going to tuck into the draft. We'll be able to get a huge head of steam, and there it is. Now looks for the left side down towards the Tamburello chicane. Maddock closing in, going to go to the left, puts Adam Miles down to second potentially, unless Adam Miles is brave enough to try to fight this one. He is going to try to fight this one out for second place. George Maddock is going to retake second place, going around the outside of turn 2. That puts Adam Miles under fire from Nathan Wade just behind. Here comes Budgeon trying to make it 3 wide for third.
Always, he's trying to sneak up the inside into Villeneuve, but it's not going to work. Clark Williams is starting to get in on the action as well, and can Clark Williams take the opportunity and try and make a move on Bergson? Yes, he does. So Clark Williams up into 5th place. Great move.
The fact that there has been no contact so far in all of this action is a huge testament, I think, to the skill that these drivers have and the respect that they have for one another. I mean, you can tell right there, Clark Williams didn't set that move up. He just went for that one and somehow pulled it off. Budgeon, of course, gave him a little bit of room to work with there. I think kind of backed off a bit just to avoid the accident, but again, goes to show just how much respect these guys have for each other, that they can recognize when they want to take the patient moves with each other. That has split this field up quite a bit, though, but by the time we get to that white flag, they'll be right back with each other. Yeah,
absolutely, and Clark Williams, like I said before, in the early stage of the race, he's nice and patient, but towards the end, that's when he starts making moves, and that move in Bergson was just proof of that. But as they head through the Variante Alta chicane yet again, and it looks like the gap from third down to third to second and first place is starting to close down again. But like you say, when it comes up to the home straight and that slipstream, that'll come down dramatically.
Two laps to go this time by Pattinson. Clean off of the final corner. George Maddock trying to see if he can maybe run down Ewan Pattinson and retake the lead. Coming into Tamburello, pulls out and will not quite retake it at the line, but we'll be able to get this one further down in towards Tamburello. Fully clears. Adam Miles trying to maybe close up the gap towards P2, and does so on the entry to turn number 1 on the penultimate lap of the race.
Yep, as they head through turn 2, and turn 3 and turn 4 through Tamburello and heading up to Villeneuve. It looks like, yep, like I mentioned, the gap to the top 3 is closed back up dramatically. So this battle is not over by any means, but who's going to come out on top? It's hard to say, as we're on the lap 11 at the moment, and the next lap will be the last lap. But I think the person in the prime position, I think if he just stays where he is, I think it could be Adam Miles.
Kevin Budgeon, as you can see, has dropped off a little bit from this top grouping, meaning this is pretty much a 5-horse race now to decide the winner of round number 10 in the 3rd season of 2021 for the UK&I Monday Night Skippy Series. It's anybody's race at this point, isn't it? Because one wrong move for many of these drivers, that's going to send the guys up in front off, and it'll be clean sailing for the one survivor, which is, again, not something entirely uncommon to see, but tell you what, I would really hope that this battle continues to be clean and green all the way through to the checker flag. That would definitely be, I think, the best possible solution. You can watch these cars clattering over the curbs, just vaulting off, and abusing the runoff area on the right side as they try to get all the speed possible down towards Ravazza.
Absolutely, as they head down to Ravazza, and the top four all close together, and Clark Williams is just waiting there in the background, waiting for something to happen. And I think Clark Williams, actually, he's in that perfect position of any of these four in front of him slip up. And if any of these four in front of him slip up, he could possibly be in contention for a podium. But as they come across the line now, and we're just about to complete the final lap, as the white flag waves.
Patterson goes to the right side. Miles isn't going to go 3 wide with him. Nearly gets run over as well. 3 wide, still down towards turn number 1. Matic has to back out. Wade trying to fight this one around the outside line. Patterson takes the lead away. Miles is going to tuck in a second. Matic third. Wade stays fourth, with Clark Williams down in 5th place. Once again, Ewan Patterson cheating death, so to speak, as he ducked over to the right side and had to force Miles even further out to the right. Miles so loose and wide to the first part of Villeneuve, and that's going to open up the door of the exit for George Batten to try to get a run up for Tosa.
Yeah, and these three scrapping away is allowing Ewan Patterson to pull away and build a little bit of a gap. But yeah, these guys are starting to scrap away amongst themselves, and Ewan Patterson's like, I'll catch you later, guys.
Looking bad, getting pushed onto the grass from Adam Miles. Oh, contact just slightly, wheel to wheel. Maddox and wide through Piratelli, going to come back on. That finally allows Adam Miles to get clear. Might just be able to run down Pattinson, but it might be a little bit of an ass in a rally. Wade super deep and off the course through the runoff. Comes back on. No doubt we'll have a slowdown penalty for that one. Budgeon goes through to 5th. Still side by side for 3rd place, just in behind with Maddox trying to fend off Williams. Williams gets the spot down into the Alta chicane. All these drivers vaulting over the curbs, with Matic trying to see if he can run down Williams up in front. Adam Miles closing more and more on Ewan Pattinson, running down towards the final couple of corners. Matic under fire, gonna take Clark Williams down the inside line, around the outside of that, and cuts off Clark Williams right at the apex. I think up in front, Ewan Pattinson is going to have a clean shot to the end of this race. He will most certainly get victory. For Miles and Matic, though, it is not over. Drag racing down for 2nd place, trying to get the run up to the line. Matic just out in front. Here comes Budgeon. Budgeon ramps over. They all rack out to the line. Hard crash as Clark Williams goes flying through the air. George Matic picks up 2nd, though, with Budgeon somehow managing 3rd. Miles in 4th, with Williams, the fastest lap set of the race, flipping across to end in 5th place.
Well, what what a finish to that race. That was unbelievable, but that was a fantastic battle between that pack 8 and the closing stages, and unfortunately it ended up in contact, but it's better to have a contact on the last lap rather than towards the end of the race. But yeah, it was just unfortunate, but on the other hand, great battle on Nolan, and I enjoyed that.
Oh my gosh, what a finish for 2nd place. Maybe not for the lead, but watch this. Budgeon tried to shoot the gap, it just didn't work. There goes Williams hard into the wall, and back end digs in, just kicks him up and into the fence. A tremendous wreck across the line, though, and that that sums up a pretty good Monday Night Skippys race, though. But tell you what, that was phenomenal. The wreck all happened after the line, didn't have anything to do with how the finish results played out. It was an absolutely fantastic race. So, I tell you what, I certainly cannot wait to see, what the next race might have in store for us. Just waiting on one more driver, Dave Dowson, to come across the line here before we'll be able to sort ourselves out and come across and give you those post-race results. Dowson just now crosses start-finish. We'll take a look at your official post-race results. Here's a slow motion view as well. There you see Budgeon kick it up into the air. You see the 24 of Nathan Way closing. There is Clark Williams cutting over to the left. Makes wheel-to-wheel contact with the suspension. It's just going to get launched into the fence.
Yeah, I was saying that during the race as well. I had a feeling that something was going to happen, and on the last lap it unfortunately did. But I have to say that was a great race between that park up at the front. It was great hard racing, but respectful racing at the same time, and yeah, great fun. As on your screen right now, we've got the results.
Ian Patson taking the victory by 1.7 seconds. Maddock and Adam Miles battling too hard for their own good on the last lap of the race. Maddock eventually picks up second, with Kevin Budgett down in third place, Adam Miles in fourth, Clark Williams fifth, Nathan Wade and Patrick Bennett sixth and seventh, with James McRitchie in eighth place to round out the top half of the field here, Ryan.
Yep, finishing 11th was great. Jeff Randall, finishing 9th rather. Sorry, it was Jeff Randall with 10th going to Martin Armitage. 11th was Gerald Draper with John McDonald in 12th. Alan Patterson in 13th. 14th going to Lewis Sienna. 15th was Dave Dawson. And then the rest of the field, Daniel Tuss retired from the race, and Michael Barry did not take to the grid.
Tell you what, 1.7 seconds from first to second. That really does not do justice, though, to how close that battle was right up to that last lap. It goes to show that sometimes you can't just always look at the post-race results to determine how exciting a race really was all the way throughout.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, for most of the season, I've not had huge turnouts like we've had in previous seasons, but still the race has been great. And I think if there was a race day I was picking for race of the season so far, or race of the season in general, I think this would be the one.
What a run. And I mean, it's not over yet. I mean, you got a lot of races still next to come. Now, of course, next up is, of course, the Nürburgring at the Grand Prix circuit. I will say, a track that typically isn't as entertaining, shall we say, as Imola is, but the one key thing to note is the best passing opportunity for these Skippys is going to be that final chicane, which has a very long straightaway with that right-hand sweeper leading right up to it. I have a feeling we'll be seeing a lot of calamity in that chicane in the closing laps of next week's race.
Yeah, absolutely. That should be, the Nürburgring's a great track for the Skippys, and it should be a great race. And it looks like we've got some people here for an interview.
Well, we'll see if we can get a hold of George Maddock. Hopefully we'll be able to do so. We'll try to bring up George Maddock, and hopefully we'll be able to give a bit of a chat here to your second place finisher. George, what a race for you. I mean, second place, not bad at all, despite all the calamity behind at the line.
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, disappointing. I think I should have won that, really. I feel like I controlled most of it. Managed to get a lead first lap, and then me and Adam were doing a good job at the start, trying to keep the guy behind in third blocked in for turn one, and try and stop it going three wide, because obviously, we lose a lot of time doing that. But yeah, fun race, enjoyed it. Got a bit feisty at the end. Particularly on the last lap. I could see I could see Ewan getting away. So I knew that I could catch Ewan, so I had to get aggressive on Adam. And we went side by side for a lot of the lap. A little bit of netcode, a little bit of aggressive aggressive racing at the uphill left-hander. Put me off the track quite a bit, but managed to come back on. And got a slow down. So luckily I managed to get past Clark as well into the second last corner. Then I think Adam must have had a slowdown or something in the last corner, because I was bump drafting him out of the last corner, and just managed to avoid the 3 or 4 car pile-up behind me. So good race, but should have won.
When we take a look at Imola as a whole, obviously it's a favorite for a lot of drivers out there and fans alike. What's your take on the Italian facility?
It's got to be probably my favourite track on the calendar. I'm going to say that because I'm quick here. I've actually got decent pace here, so it's a fun track. You can go side by side. Me and Evan proved that on the last lap. Shame about a little bit of netcode, there's a tiny bit, but fun track. Probably a little bit too drafty. I think I broke away and got about 0.6, 0.7 at one part of the race, and then it's just evaporated by the time I get to turn one. But yeah. Good fun race, and love the track. Hopefully it stays on for every single season forever.
With the Nick Von Roberts Ano show, you're going to be put up to third place here in the championship standings. What do you think? You're about 19 points off of Adam Miles. You reckon you could potentially run him down for a win at the end of the season for second place?
I'm not going to try and take him out if that's what you mean by running down. But I think the drop weeks will make it interesting. I got unlucky last few weeks, but I had a couple of poor results in the last 2 weeks. So anything can happen. I think Nürburgring next week is going to be fun. It's just going to be draft the whole way. Probably equally, if not slightly worse in terms of draft than Imola, with the home straight and the back straight. Obviously, the chicanes will make it tasty as well, and the long hairpin. So yeah, I'll give it everything. But to be honest, I'm just enjoying driving. I'm not too worried about the championship. If it happens, it happens. I doubt it will, because Benny's in a league of his own. But yeah, it will be fun to see where we come out. And obviously, Nick missing this week throws it in the air a little bit. So it's going to be close.
Well, George, it's been a pleasure having you up here to have a little bit of a chat with us. Before I let you go here, anybody you'd like to shout out for your number 17?
Just a shout out to you guys, Nolan and Ryan for doing, and Tyler, of course, for doing a great broadcast, and Alan as well for hosting and dealing with everything that goes with the league. And shout out to Ewan for the win. Maybe he got a bit lucky with us fighting behind him, but that's where I wanted to be first on the last lap. But yeah, shout out to you guys again for the broadcast, and yeah, I think your commentary is superb.
Well, thanks for the kind words, George, and thank you for joining us up here in the booth, and we'll hopefully be talking to you again in the future. Best of luck at the Nürburgring.
Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
As your second place finisher, George Maddock, coming home. Oh, so close to a race win, Ryan, but just couldn't quite pull it together. But hey, he's got 2 more races to go to try to run down Adam Miles in the standings.
Yeah, he absolutely has, and that battle in the championship's not over by any means, and hopefully next weekend he can get some redemption and they possibly take the win. But still, it is a fantastic race this evening, and the Nürburgring next week with those long straights, I think we could be in for some more draft battles.
Well, draft battles obviously a staple of the UK&I Monday Night Skippies, and hopefully we'll be able to see more of this in the coming 2 weeks to close out the season. For now, though, we are going to have to close out on this broadcast. That's all the time we got for one night. My name is Imola Brempel. I have had Ryan Walker beside me from start to finish, with Tyler Maxson once again doing a great job down behind the cameras for tonight's race. We thank everybody for taking the time out of their Monday nights to come and join us for more UK&I Monday Night Skippies. We'll be seeing you all next week.